Week 7 of the NFL begins tonight. And during what a fascinating non-playing season it was for the Arizona Cardinals. I still have this piece of paper on my desk. I don't know why I have not thrown it out yet. I don't know why, because I've had it on my desk since the very last week of February, going into the first week of March when Kyler Murray's agent popped it out. This statement to all of Arizona saying that Kyler Murray wants a new contract and he doesn't want to go anywhere, and it sure looks like he might have to go somewhere because the contract's not on the table yet. And it was this fascinating, lovely piece of stationery from his agent. And we all know that Murray got the new contract, and then the new contract had some weird clause in it about how he has to study on his iPad, and they'll know if he's playing other video games while he's on his iPad, and he needs to have his iPad time, which is the exact opposite of my situation with Susan and I in our house. We take it away usually more often than not. Too much screen time for the quarterback. That wasn't the proper amount of screen time, and we all know that they scrapped that. They scrapped that clause because it made their quarterback, very honest, look like a baby. And, we had a little bit of fun with it, and then it wasn't so fun when the season began, because in the middle of all this drama that turned out to be no such drama, because he did come back, and he is there in Arizona. In the middle of all that, it was announced that DeAndre Hopkins was missing the first 6 games of the season because of a violation of the steroid policy, some sort. Something was found in his system that didn't belong there. And 6 games. The 6 games are now over. And when Hopkins went out and the conversations were turned to the Arizona Cardinals, what would their record be? I said, if they could at least go 500, that would be good. If they could somehow start fast, which they have done in the last 2 years. 2 years ago, they started 6-3 and then fell off and didn't make the playoffs. Last year, they were the last remaining undefeated team at 7-0 until that Week 8 Thursday Night Football date with Green Bay. Packers came in and handed the Cardinals their first loss. And then they still made the playoffs thanks to that strong start, and then got one and done. It was as if they never made the playoffs. And now here we are. Hopkins returns, and the team's 2-4. And the team is 2-4. And their big offseason acquisition on draft night, Marquise Brown from Baltimore, long ago teammate of Kyler Murray's in Oklahoma, it looks like he's out for the rest of the season. He's got a foot injury. We're taking a look at it. Now, Robbie Anderson, who got sent off at SoFi Stadium just 4 days ago by Carolina, acquired by Arizona on Monday, they're coming out with a pretty much damn new receiving core for Kyler Murray.
Yep.
So here we go. The season for Arizona starts tonight, one would say, or you could make a case that it could come to a much earlier than expected 5-alarm fire, because walking into their house tonight is another 2-4 team that I proffer to say had an idea. I mean, there were many people who thought the Saints were not only going to win the division in shock, but go deep into the playoffs. And they're 2-4. And it looks like Andy Dalton's going to get consecutive start number 4 on this short week, as Jameis Winston has foot and back problems that are still keeping him out. And Dalton trying to go to 500 as a quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. He's coming into this house tonight, taking on Kyler Murray and Arizona, and both of them staring into an abyss, wondering if they can make something out of the final 11 games of their regular season. Still a lot more football left to be played, but as of right now, it looks bleak that we're going to see a third straight team host a Super Bowl in their own stadium. Because you're looking around at that team in Arizona, and they haven't put a darn thing together in a way that you normally see for the first 6 weeks. And tonight we'll find out if DeAndre Hopkins makes this a much better situation. One would think so. Cliff Kingsbury, who was signed to a new contract in the offseason as well, says he's going to consider maybe giving up play calling duties. Is that the issue?
Yeah, whatever it takes, he said.
I don't blame him. Because right now, there's a lot of people looking at him, wondering if it's a coach problem. But I've seen a lot of Arizona Cardinals football this year. They are just making way too many mistakes. Way too many mistakes. When Kyler's throwing a pass right to one of his receivers on a third down, second down, he drops it.
Yeah.
When Kyler Murray needs to pick up a first down, he slides too soon. He slides too soon on second down rather than picking up the first down, and then he runs to the line of scrimmage and spikes the football to stop the clock, bringing up a fourth down. And then they bring out a kicker who then misses it. And tonight we might see the return of either Matt Prater or Rodrigo Blankenship, by the way.
I saw that they signed him.
Because when Hopkins came off of suspension, they cut Matt Amendola and signed Rodrigo Blankenship, who we last saw miss a field goal for the Colts in week 1 in their tie against Houston, and the Colts just cut him. Cardinals signed him to the practice squad if Matt Prater can't answer the bell tonight. So they might have a new kicker and a whole new receiving core, and hopefully for them, a whole new lease on life. And then there's the Saints as well, where Michael Thomas is out, Jarvis Landry is out, Lattimore is out, Andres Pete is out. They already have Trevor Penning, who's their top tackle that they drafted. He's out. Looks like Olave might be back up. They are banged up big time. And they're coming in at 2-4 with their backup quarterback. And the loser goes to 2-5. Benefit for them, though, is everybody else in the division that's above them, 3-3.
They're right there.
Both teams.
Right there, man. They are right there.
Both teams. So that's your setup for tonight. You've got a high-stakes contest in the NFC. High stakes. Certainly, since one would think if somebody wants to make a run, even if they lose, this is a wild card scenario. And if you're talking about a 7th and final playoff spot, somebody might have a tiebreak to just throw on the table. Second week of January and say, remember that week 7 kickoff? Man, that should have been won by you. Because we'll take that tiebreak and we'll walk into the playoffs with it. Cardinals are 13th in the NFC right now. 13th. 2-4 with the Commanders and Bears. Oh, my goodness. Same thing with the Saints. Neither of these teams thought that they would be 2-4. Tied with Commanders and Bears. And looking up at the Seahawks and Falcons, I might add.
But just think about the NFC West, Rich. Niners have a tough game this week against Kansas
Chiefs.
City, albeit at home.
So you want to say they're 3-4?
And Rams are on a bye. So Cardinals would have win tonight. They're suddenly right there. Tied with the 49ers, half game behind the Rams.
With Hopkins back.
With D-Hop back, who we assume is going to look like D-Hop tonight.
One would think he's going to come out and he's going to be ready to roll. Eager to show off that he is the difference maker that the team has been missing. So, like I said, when Hopkins went out, I'm like, this team is going to have to do what they haven't done in the Cliff Kingsbury era, where they started 5-10-1 and then went 6-3, missed the playoffs, and then started 7-0, barely made the playoffs as a wild card, and walked into the house of the team that went right past them to win the division and got spanked as that team who won the division went on to win the Super Bowl, beating another team in the NFC West in the process to get to the Super Bowl in their home stadium, like Arizona's attempting to do. You know? So, big game tonight.